I'm just talking to my people. I'm talking to my women who have gone through this shit.
There are so many lessons to learn from the narcissist in your life.
You need support from people that have gone through this and that have been able to come through it on the other side. And that's why we're here having this conversation.
You have a voice, and it's a vibrant voice, and it's loud, and it's angry, and it's everywhere. And I'm not like that. I'm not aggressive. I'm usually kind and nice, but now you're not.
It may be time to let go of that relationship and then be grateful for all what you got out of it.
If I change my perspective, I gain my power. Lesson one.
I'm just talking to my people. I'm talking to my women who have gone through this shit. And it's like, I've experienced it and not to some of the levels that some of these other women have. And that's awful and it's crappy. And I know how it feels and it sucks. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And let's go through this together. I can relate. You can relate. How can we find the gifts in this? How can we see this as a positive thing versus just this negative thing that tore us apart? And then we're just doubting ourselves. Like, I'm so sick of doubting myself and feeling like I did something wrong and I'm to blame for everything. I'm so sick of it because that's what that person, that's how they make you feel. And that sucks. And no one should have to feel that way, especially these beautiful souls that are so loving. They have so much heart and they just want to give, and they gave everything in this relationship. They gave everything until they had nothing. And the person kept taking and taking and just kept shitting on them. And it's like, it's sick and it's perverted and it's wrong. And I'm like, how can another human see someone suffering and allow them to suffer? And it's usually their freaking partner. It's your child, it's your parent, it's someone, the closest person to you. How can someone be so cruel and so mean and see you completely turn to nothing when the reason they were drawn to you is because you're this amazing person and you've forgotten that and you really feel like nothing and you believe that, and then you start to believe that you're nothing, and then to come out of that and to try to be like, am I worth anything? You freaking doubt yourself. You doubt yourself and all your amazing gifts and everything. And so you do need support. You need support from people that have gone through this and that have been able to come through it on the other side. And that's why we're here having this conversation, because we've been through it and it has been hell. And we don't want people to stay stuck in that hell and be alone like we were alone, because our friends didn't believe us, because our partner, our person, everyone freaking believed them because they're a charmer. They're charming, they're handsome, they're attractive, they're smart, they're like people pleasers. They make everyone believe that they're so amazing. And then here you are. And then everyone starts to think you're the crazy person and you start to believe it because these are everyone closest to you. And that sucks. So how do we rise? How do we rise out of this and come back home to us and remember who we are and build that again without the limiting beliefs or the thoughts of, well, I just suck as a person. Why would I attract these people? There must be something wrong with me, because that is a really horrible space to be in. So how do we get out of that space?
God, Mel, your emotions are so beautiful. And yes, that's how I felt inside of myself. I went through that several times. I have a toxic family. I married two. And so throughout my journey, I learned so much. And there are so many lessons to learn from the narcissist in your life. It's like these narcissists are these entities that come in to allow one to see their worth. And it's done in the most despicable of ways. However, empath sensitives like us, empath sensitives, light workers, these beautiful beings that you're talking about and you're sensing with, these beautiful beings that have so much love to give, being dropped into family dynamics that are toxic and painful, we kind of end up losing sense of our truth. We start to doubt ourselves. We don't trust our intuition. We lose our voice. We start to please and codepend insanely, like it's our only survival kit that we have. And from that kind of family dynamics, a lot of people drop into relationships that are of that kind, or have coworkers like that, or they find out their sibling is like that to them, or there's a friends that are like that, because now their energetic field is, wait, nobody likes to hear me. They don't want to see me. They don't care about how I feel. So I'm going to do all this effort for everyone else so that I can belong. However, what we're actually truly learning from narcissists in these dynamics, there are lots of lessons learned. And I think I'll share like up to 5 for today. So, and then we can continue. If you guys are interested in more, then definitely share in the comments that you'd like to hear more of the positives and the lessons learned from the narcissist so you can feel more attuned to yourself. So these kind, beautiful beings, okay, that are here on the planet to just produce love are incapable of producing that love because, first of all, now they hate who they are. Okay. They shame themselves day and night. There's so much self-judgment. They're so confused about who they are. They've been so gaslighted, so manipulated that their self-worth has vanished. And their self-worth, your self-worth becomes, I am worthy. My worth is in that person's hands. So that person likes me or doesn't like me, whatever that person's mood is, my worth is according to how they're perceiving me every minute of the day. So now I have no worth. I have no value. I have no identity. My identity has been erased and deleted. Yeah, you can watch. We'll put up one of the episodes that will really help you identify the 7 traits that narcissists put you through, so that you do start to delete your identity, so that it's so easy for you to give up who you are, right? And give into an identity that they're developing for you. However, one of the greatest lessons I've personally learned, and with the clients I've worked with, is that narcissists are great at teaching the disempowered empaths, the disempowered light workers, the disempowered sensitives to find their voice. Okay, so it's really cool because the biggest thing is when I speak up, when I say my thing, I'm terrified. And what happens is we all start taking these courses, how to speak, how to say it well, how not to say it well. It's stupid what we go through, but we end up going through it. And we do all this because we're terrified of we're not even terrified of the person anymore, because we've been taught to be terrified of the consequences. So we're not scared of the person. We are scared of the consequences that we will receive from that person if we speak our truth, if we say this hurt my feelings, if we say I don't accept this, if we have boundaries. So the thing that they teach us, because they press so hard and they push you so far that at some point you just explode and your throat chakra explodes open. It just does. You start to answer back, right? You start to be aggressive. You start to speak in a way that you would never speak again, ever, ever. Like you're not even, it's like against all your value system. However, it pops this open. So it's as if like you've spent all these years swallowing your words, ignoring and disconnecting from self to, wait a minute, like you don't want to do it anymore. So you go to the other extreme, which is perfect because now there's a voice. You have a voice, and it's a vibrant voice, and it's loud and it's angry and it's everywhere. And yes, you feel guilty after. And yes, you start to backtrack because they may give you the silent treatment, or they may manipulate you or project on you, or whatever it is that you're going to start to believe in. But you found your voice. And for the first time, you're actually excited to use that voice, even if it comes with guilt, but there's a freedom in it that you've never found. And it confuses you because you start to think, well, I'm not like that. I'm not aggressive. I'm usually kind and nice, but now you're not, right? But trust me, there's a freedom. You feel it in your body. You're like, good for me. I've got it. So one of the most important things that they push you to find, which you've lost since childhood, is your voice. And it doesn't matter that it's super aggressive. What's happening is from going to complete pent up and swallowing to hyperactive. I have a voice. Here I am, like it or not. I'll feel guilty and shamed with all this, but I also feel guilty and shamed with this. So guilt and shame is fine. Keep them. Who cares for now? You found your voice. At some point, you're going to find your middle ground. You're going to know when to speak and when not to speak, when it is relevant, when it isn't relevant. And that takes us to point 2. But before I go there, I just want to make sure that you will all can subscribe to our channel and support us. Press the like button and make sure to comment that you actually subscribed, and we'll make sure to personally respond to you because we would love to hear from you. So basically this point 1 is you find your voice. Lesson 1, you get your voice. Does it make sense, Mel? I have to
Yes, this
refer
is
back to Mel
amazing.
always. Yeah, it's making sense. The
This
voice
is
thing
so
is,
good. Yes, I love it. And I can completely relate. That was me. I was the swallow it, quiet, stuff it, stuff my voice, because this was what my parents, that's what my dad did. And then I swing the polar opposite with my mom. I was so afraid to be my mom because she's more aggressive and loud. And I feel like I'm going into that energy of aggressive. No, I'm having my voice. I am so sick of not having my voice. I'm not doing that anymore. But then even my spouse had noticed, like, okay, Mel, he's like, I don't know. And he's so sweet. He's a sweetheart. I have a good one. I'm lucky. But like, he's like, sometimes you do this pendulum swing where you're this way and then you go the polar opposite. And I'm like, I know it's because I'm trying to feel this out and get a feel of what it feels like to feel like being in like kind of centered. And I've never done it before. So it's like, just be patient with me. But anyways, but then there's the side effects of other people that are having to feel it and sense it and be a part of that and like get some of, now he's getting more of that. I was quiet and now I'm like, having my voice. How dare you? And he's like, whoa. I'm like, and he's just like, I just said this one thing. And so anyways, but it's coming back to that, yeah, to that the healthy version. And it's like, I need a little space to practice that. So anyways, this is amazing.
yes, that healthy balance will find its way. So this one needs to be very expressed because in voicing, so everyone who's feeling maybe a little too much or people can't handle it, even if you have the most loving husband and he's like, whoa, people get used to certain ways of being, right? At some point, everyone around you starts to get used to you being that way. It happened with me. So 19 years ago, I found my voice and I was just screaming left, right, and center. And at some point, and now my identity is like, oh, don't talk to Rain. She's really going to rip you a new one. I was like, wow, I'm proud of that identity. I found my balance between the two and I know who to raise my voice at and who to completely ignore. But at some point, you're going to know the balance will just show itself because you're more attuned to you and you've given yourself permission and the courage to be aggressive if you need to be and angry, which is amazing. Just giving yourself permission without guilt, that is amazing. Which leads us to point two. Okay. Point two, basically, so once you do find your voice and there's guilt and shame, the good thing that the narcissists teach you now, narcissists, if you observe narcissists and how they act, they have no guilt. They don't show guilt. They don't apologize because of guilt. They don't say sorry because of they don't say yes to anything due to guilt. Nothing. Guilt does not exist, is not their drive towards anything. Okay. So one of the most important things we actually learn from them, surprisingly, is how to guilt-free ourselves. So observing the narcissist more than fighting against them. Spend a lot more time observing. Like they'll say this thing and it's completely wrong and it's mean and it's cruel and it's putting down and they will never apologize. Now I know sensitive empaths, light workers, all apology is so easy for us because we feel how other people feel and we don't want to hurt them. This is so natural for us. So we keep this trait. Don't get rid of this trait, people. You keep the good qualities you actually have. Okay. It's not a dysfunction. Just because they don't know how to do it, it doesn't mean we are dysfunctioned. We keep our good traits and we adopt from them the traits that we admire, which is they don't feel guilt. They're not guilt driven. They will not try to make amends with you because they're feeling guilty or they're like, oh my God, I rocked the boat or I was so wrong. I shouldn't have said that. They don't do that, right? What do we learn from them? The lesson learned from that is I can learn not to do that either. I still am keeping my kindness. I still apologize to take responsibility for I raged a little too loud this time, but I don't do it through guilt. I do it just because of what value I have in myself. But I learn from the narcissist, like, how do they do it? It's magical. They really don't turn around. So that's another great aspect to learn from the narcissist. They're guilt free. Well, great. They're in my life to present, to show me what guilt-free walks and looks like because we don't have that experience, so they're a good representation. So that's the second point when it comes to guilt. Observe how they do it. Tell yourself it's okay if you do it, because if you are guilt-free, it doesn't mean you're a narcissist. That's the thing that we have hooked. We're like, oh, but if we don't feel guilty or shame, then we're narcissistic, then we're selfish and egotistical and self-centered. It's not true, right? Guilt doesn't make you more humble. Guilt doesn't make you kinder. Guilt doesn't make you apologize. It's not guilt. Guilt eats you up and kills you inside and lets you become a doormat. It's knowing that I don't have to feel guilty, but I can take responsibility that, you know what, maybe I could have been quiet. I'm sorry I spoke this way. They take it, they don't take it, it's their problem, right? But I don't hover after them due to guilt to make them accept my apology. Okay. So is it making sense how guilt can be taught from a
Yeah,
narcissist?
that's beautiful. Just how you worded that and said that was wow. Yeah, I can see the gift in that of being able to see that and experience that and do it in a healthy way. Okay, that's amazing. Love it.
Okay. Now, point three, which also leads from there. So, point three is learning to stand by what you believe to be true for you. So, we know in narcissistic relationships, and after you've been in one, even if you've left one, there's still a confusion in your mind about, wait, who am I? What do I stand for? What do I like? What I don't like? You don't really know because people pleasing and codependency is all depending on what others like. Therefore, I will like, right? But when you observe a narcissist and you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they actually stick by what they want no matter what. They value what they value to be true, even if it's psychotic to the world. Even if every member of the world is disagreeing with their perspective, they honor their perspective above all else. So, zero people pleasing traits. Zero, zero, zero. So, if you notice your conversation with a narcissist, if you're the empath and sensitive and light worker, you're like all like trying to convince them to see your point of view. You want more people to agree with your point of view. You want more people to agree with your value system, right? You need more people. Why? So that you can start to trust yourself more, right? So you can believe in that idea that you have of life or your values are correct, right? So I remember very clearly at some point, I've always had cheating on a marriage, to be a woman who sleeps with a married man or is like emotionally attracted to a married man or any of that, to me since I was a child, is a value that I could never cross. And I cannot tolerate women like that, and I cannot tolerate societies like that. To me, it's a huge thing that is completely unacceptable. My entire system cannot handle it, right? I think it's due to the fact that I respect women so much and I know how women feel emotionally that there's no way in hell I would put another woman, even if I hate her guts, in that situation. It's just my value. But being in a narcissistic relationship, no matter how strong I was with that value, I was made fun of. I was put down through friends, through colleagues, right? I would be put down by other women. And so I started to be like, wait, maybe I'm too much. And I would be like, you need to go get therapy because this is a little too much. Like I would refuse any clients who were coming to try to seek help on how to continue dating a married man and getting him to get rid of his wife and kids. Like I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're not allowed in my office. And so I would get a lot of people complaining and you're too much and blah, blah, blah. So what happens there is I started to, not that I would accept it for myself, but I started to accept, well, women do that because of all the gaslighting that was occurring to me. And I didn't stick by my values. Now, if I spoke to a narcissist who had that same value system, which they really don't, but in it, let's say they have a value, they will never, ever, 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 ever let go of what they perceive to be correct is and their value. So, what I learned from the narcissists in my life is hey, if they can stick to what they think to be true and they value so much that they don't care if they lose the entire world, but they will manipulate and gaslight everyone to believe in what they believe to be true, I can do the same. I don't want to manipulate and gaslight others, but I can do the same as I can completely trust it's being done. I'm seeing it in my partners. I'm seeing it in my parents. You know, they will lose everybody, but not lose their value, their self value. And so that's a great lesson to learn from the narcissists. I can adopt that, but I don't have to continue what they're doing, which is the manipulation gaslight. But I can adopt the idea of, hey, they can do it and they're shitty. I can do it and I have kindness. How amazing if I could stick by my own value system. So basically, you start to believe in yourself a lot more and you hold on to your beliefs whether the whole world does it or not. In time, there's a confidence that comes in, and then you just naturally start meeting people who have the same belief system, right? So that's something to learn from an experience with a narcissist when you're in relationship with them. Did I say that was number 3 or number 4?
Yes, that was number 3.
Number 3, okay. Another one, the 4th one is you start to find, you start to be able to say no, which is really very powerful, because a narcissist or an unhealthy partner, they know how to say no. This was mind-boggling. I'd be like, oh, let's go here and do this and take the car and go there and trips with the kids and everything. And he'd simply just say no. I'd be like, what do you mean no? Give me more. Because when I would say no, it would be like, no, I'm not in the mood. My stomach hurts. But I wouldn't just simply say no. I'd have like an array of excuses needing him to approve of my no. Right. And then at some point I stopped and I started to observe. I'm like, why when he says no, it kind of becomes the thing. And when I say no about something, I have to put so much energy into convincing this person because I don't want them to get upset because I'm scared of the consequences of my no. And, what will he take away from me? Or what will my parents take away from me if I say no? But to only notice that in the relationship with a narcissist, your no becomes more vibrant. Your no becomes louder. You hear your own no and you stand by your no because you notice that when they stick by their no, they don't care. They'll even go out without you. They'll ignore you. You don't make a difference to their no. And so you start to think, you know what? I should matter. And this is where I matter comes in. And when you start to be able to say no because you truly don't want to go somewhere, you truly don't want to do something, you truly don't want to be spoken to in a certain way, and you stand up and say your no, the silent treatment doesn't work on you anymore. The silent treatment is one of the harshest things. And again, I will refer you to that video of the 7 traits of narcissists. The silent treatment is in there, and it is a powerful wounding way. So when you are able to say your no and you observe how they do it without a care in the world, your confidence starts to boost up. Their gaslighting cannot affect you anymore because you're building yourself. You have a new you that's developing. And the most important thing is silent treatment stops working because now you are glad that they've cut you off and they're stonewalling you and not speaking to you, because now you have more time to sit with your no and your yes and discover who you are. And that's the beauty of the silent treatment, if you get it. And the 5th one, okay, I have a longer list, but I don't want this video. I don't think we want this video too long. So the 5th one is a new identity. So the most amazing thing that the narcissists allow you to do is come up with a new identity. They push you so far in the identity that you've dressed up in, that pretend good girl, that pretend good person, that I'm so kind and happy and I'm easygoing. I can do anything. That was me. Oh no, I don't have to choose a restaurant. I'm so easygoing. Oh my God, I'm this. Oh, I don't look for money. I just want love. We all know this game. We've all done that, right? Like hovering for like attention and love and being like, I'm so easygoing. Like, no, take me anywhere. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. But then when you start, they push you so far. But nothing you do want, they offer you, and everything you don't want, they give you more of, that you start to have to develop a new identity. Because that old one from childhood that you've worked with that was working for you is killing you today. It's damaging you. And so you start to be like, wait a minute, who am I really? Because now you're confused as hell. Okay. You don't know up from down, left from right, value from not. You're just like nothing. So you end up like from this nothing space, this empty void. You're like, but who am I? Hey, I'm a person who has a loud voice, person who knows how to say no, a person who, will stand up for my values. What are my values again? You start writing them down. And now you start to develop a new personality. And this new identity that the narcissist helps you to develop is a powerful you. Is the actual you that was born on this planet before the identity of, oh, I have to please everyone. I don't want to be left alone. I want to belong started to develop as an identity. And you start to, and they force you to spit it out. For some people, it takes a year. Some people a few months, some people 10 years, some people 20 years. I know people who were in these marriages for 30 years before they finally came to terms with, I need to be a different person. So they do help with a new identity shift. So take advantage of these lessons you learn from narcissists. It is profound and it's done for you. This is all for you so that you can become something else. You can become the person you've dreamt of becoming. I mean, the only reason you actually liked a narcissist is because they presented to you everything you desired to be. They presented confidence, power, strength. They can say no, they say yes, they can be funny when they want to, they choose not to. That is what was attractive, their independence and all this stuff, which are all the traits you know that you have, but you've been terrified to use. What they do is they slap you so silly that you have no choice but to step into your true identity and become that person. Is that
Okay,
does
I
that make
love that.
sense? Okay.
Yes. And that just made me realize, like, okay, wow, if we could change our perspective on this and look at it of like, because the truth is, if I like look at something that's like, oh, I must have done something wrong. Why would I attract such a horrible person? They tore me apart. Like, that's that victim energy. And I hate being in that victim energy. And even if you practice, just feel what that feels like in your body, thinking that thought of, I did something wrong to attract it. Why would I attract someone like that? What's wrong with me? But if you flip the perspective and you're able to look at it as like, oh my gosh, I attracted this person. Yeah, it hurt to go through it because I kind of depleted everything out of me, but that's exactly what I needed to, like, I guess I needed to hit my own rock bottom to realize it's not worth it. And I was able to feel and experience what it feels like to give everything where you actually knew you finally got to your rock bottom where you realize I have nothing left to give. And in fact, I keep giving everything, even my scraps, and it's still not good enough. It's still coming back where I don't feel loved or accepted or enough. And then we realize in these relationships, oh wow, like they're able to teach us all these things of to come back to us. And so if we were able to realize, like, wow, this is the relationship that I needed to come back home to me, I'm so grateful. But don't get confused with feeling like you have to be a loyal person, because I'm a very loyal person. I have other friends around me that are in these relationships that are like, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. I'm not a quitter. And so they like stay in these relationships way longer than they should, not realizing, you know what, this relationship was perfect for you for the moment of time until you discovered and realized time to start using your voice and do all these things. And you might outgrow that relationship, and that's okay. So you have permission. Some relationships, maybe you use your voice and maybe that person shifts and is able to work with it and you're able to redeem, like have this good relationship. But if you really are with a severe narcissist that just doesn't care about anyone else, it may be time to let go of that relationship and then be grateful for all what you got out of it, the lessons that you learned from it, and to build yourself up. So any other relationship you're around, with family, with friends, with another partner, that you don't have to be depleted and disappear again. You have all those values you learned from this relationship. Wow, we can have gratitude for it. Thank you. I needed that. Otherwise, I would have walked around with my throat chakra closed my whole life, being the good girl and the people pleaser. And that's not the way you want to live your whole life. So we get to have gratitude for it. And that just, for me, that feels so much better than the alternative of, oh, what's wrong with me? I can't believe I did this. Why would I attract this person? Like it's just a whole different energy. This perspective shift can change everything. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, it is very cool to have that perspective shift. And it's more of like if I change my perspective, then I gain my power. So if I change my perspective, I gain my power. And it's just a perspective shift. Like, oh, what am I learning is different than why is this happening to me? Right? So if you can ask yourself every day the question, if you're still in this relationship, even if you've left this relationship years ago, ask yourself this question. What am I learning? How am I growing? Who am I discovering I truly am? Like, this is really important. Like, who's this person that I'm discovering I truly am? Okay. And it's okay if this person is loud and aggressive and sometimes mean and kind and sensitive and hurt. You can be all of that, and that's okay. You're allowed to be all of that. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. So which reminds me actually for you guys to check out our another episode So there are two we're referring you to here. The one of anger. There's an anger episode. We'll put it up. I don't know if you remember the name of it, the title.
Yeah, it was
It's
the
like,
gift of anger or
yeah,
something close to that.
yeah. It's like discovering the freedom of anger that you can have. So go to that episode. This will really give you permission to, even though anger has been deemed as a bad boo-boo thing, it's going to give you the freedom to actually pursue an emotion that has been deemed in the program to be naughty, naughty. Okay? Because especially if you're in this. So I want you to feel that from this episode today, at least, and we can talk a lot more about this. And if you do want to know more and any of those points, please leave your comments. Like, let us know what more you would like to know, how you can move forward, because there is no other way outside of narcissistic pain, whether it's from parents or partners or colleagues or friends or whatever, until the discovery of those lessons are learned, then you are truly, truly free. I mean, free beyond free. You're going to not give a shit about anyone's opinion but yours. You are going to end up trusting yourself more than you trust anything in the world. You're going to be so attuned to your intuition like never before. And I'm telling you this through personal experience and through what I have seen friends and clients go through. Trust me when I say you are an explosion of power. Okay. And all the narcissist is doing is coming and shaking you to wake up to the truth of who you are. Because the minute your fear from them disappears, they vanish. They can't exist because all of a sudden you are your priority, not them being happy with you. You are number one, not them, taking you out for dinner, romancing you or whatever. Nothing matters. And then you become that way with everyone in the world. You just are that person. You truly are that person. Yes. So, I think we're good. What do you think? I think
This was
I'm
beautiful.
complete. I don't know, Mel, if you have
Yes.
something to say,
This
sweetheart.
was amazing. So, thank you guys for being a part of this journey. Please stay connected with us. We would love for you to give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe so you can get more great content from us and we can stay connected with you. Leave us a comment that you've subscribed. Let us know your favorite part of this episode. We would love to know, like, what jumped out at you the most that you were like, oh my gosh, like, what's your greatest takeaway? We would love for you to comment that in the comments as well. And we will make sure to respond to each and every one of you. We very much love connecting and hearing who's taking this journey and this ride with us. So, and then make sure to click on, we're going to have this link right here for the next episode. So just click right here and then you're able to go to that next episode and learn more with us. And we'll see you on the next one.